Congratulations, Paul. My man Paul got married. His daughter got married yesterday, man. Congratulations, Brody. Appreciate everybody who's tuning back into Akoye Knows Boxing, man. We had a great day of boxing yesterday. But before we get into anything breakdown wise or any, reactions, let's make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, sharing, doing your thing. And definitely, if you can, flood the chats and let's start talking. I like having a good conversation. So don't have me up here talking to myself. But appreciate everybody who tuned in and let's get at it, man. I think because of the electricity of the fight, and obviously the title of this video, we're going to start with Conor Benn and Eubank. But the fight that took place before it is also very important at this point. Not last night, but a week before, which is Ortiz and Lubin. We're gonna talk about that too. I'm gonna break both of them down stylistically, and it's some exciting stuff coming down the pike in boxing, man. Definitely for sure. Um, Eric Dallas said, "What up, bro? Been waiting on you." Oh yeah, for sure, man. Um, I don't know how to feel about the fight. Number one, it was an exciting fight. I give both guys, Eubanks and Ben, credit for finishing the fight, for making the fight happen. But I was looking at this fight, and the thing that Chris Eubanks said that kind of stood out to me. He said it wasn't there, and I thought the same thing. I was waiting for him to start, and he never really got a chance to get off. Now that could be for a number of reasons, right? But he didn't look as energetic as he was in the original bout. So the things that may have went on behind the scenes, I look at him as a man's man, because the way he gracefully gave the spotlight to Ben, even though there clearly was something different about Eubanks in this fight, just shows what type of man he is. And if they fought again, great. I think it's bad for both of them to fight again. To be honest, I don't think Ben belongs at 160, obviously, because he's talking about going down to fight Haney and guys at 147 because that's where he belongs. And I think he'll dominate there, to be quite honest. So yeah, I don't think he belongs at 160, and I don't think Eubanks does either, because Eubanks looks like, I think he's, at this point he needs to stay 68, go up to light heavyweight maybe, because he just didn't look right. I don't know if it was a mental thing or if he just overtrained in the gym, and sometimes that happens. I've overtrained guys where they had to take some months off because they were flat. Like I have them sparring and they're not responding properly. Their reflexes are not there. They're getting hit with shots they normally don't get hit with. I've seen that happen where we were preparing for fights, and I'm like, hey, you got to sit down for a second, because if you show up to any fight the way you are in this current condition, you're gonna get hurt, right? So I've done that with my own fighters, and I had to learn that they're not Madden characters. The fatigue button and meter ain't there, so you can't just work them into the ground. And I think Chris Eubanks may have, because of the added pressure of this rematch, I think he may have overtrained. I think, or something significantly stressful happened that definitely had him in a different headspace, because his reaction time wasn't the same as it was in the first fight. But also, Ben's strategy wasn't the same as it was in the first fight either. He had a more of a yo-yo style this time, like fought like a Russian fighter, to be honest with you, because Russians and Cubans have this style where they fight on their toes and they're in and out, in and out, in and out. So they can time their half step backs, they can time those shots to the body, and they fight more like an amateuristic, light on your toes style. And Ben definitely deployed that herky jerky yo-yo style in this fight. Did a lot more body work than I expected him to do, because obviously he's slightly smaller, so I didn't think he was going to try to fight inside to get to the body, but he didn't. He didn't stay inside when he was throwing his body shots. He was throwing them from outside using explosive moves to do it. Like he was throwing right hands to the body from mid range or outside, rather than getting all the way in to do it. And he got countered a couple times clean. So Eubanks was able to time him. His timing was okay. That's what makes me question whether or not it was overtraining or his mental status, because his timing, when you overtrain, or if you're overtraining, then your timing is usually off, right? It's off. His timing wasn't that bad, because on his counters, when he would catch catch Ben coming out, he'd catch him clean. It was nice counter. He kept catching him with uppercuts and nice shots on his way out. So his timing was there, but he just wasn't the same energetically for whatever reason. maybe down the line he'll explain, what that was and why that was. But the fight was still, with that said, still a great fight. One of the best fights this year. And the way they did the 12th round was crazy. Like that was the theatrics that you need to even set up a third fight. But I think if they do fight again, it should be years down the line. It shouldn't be right away. I don't think they should rush that fight, because the two fights that they've had created so much fanfare for each of them, business wise. And this is why I'm going to put my business hat on, because for those of you who don't know, I do promote fights too. I'm in everything there is boxing. I train fighters, I manage fighters, I promote fights, you name it. In boxing, I've done it, you know what I mean, for the most part, except for a fight, obviously. I didn't have a boxing career, but I've been boxing since I was 7. So, yeah, but from the business aspect of it, I think they both fair to make more no matter what the paycheck would be if they fought again. I don't care if you gave them 30 mil, 40 mil, 50 mil each. They both stand to make more not fighting each other next, because they still have that trilogy fight no matter what happened with their career. Now, their trilogy fight still will make money because of how good the first two were. You know what I'm saying? So in between, they can make money fighting anybody else. And I think Benn's strategy, for 2 reasons, makes sense in going down to 47. Number one, don't go to 54, because Eddie Hearns manages both, or has both you and Boots in the same stable. So obviously you don't want 2 guys at 54 competing for the titles when Boots is trying to clear that division out, right? Boots has just vacated 147, which is really weak. When you have 147 now, you're talking about Norman versus Haney, as if these guys are like the top of the top at 47, which they are now. But about a year or so ago, 2 years ago, you would have been talking about Crawford and Boots at 47, and a lot of other guys that these guys would have had to deal with that we considered top notch. But Boots and Crawford and those guys cleared that division out. And a lot of those guys either retired or they're moving up. And then you got the journeyman that's still kind of hanging around that division. So the future is bright for 47, especially if Benn's going down there. I think Benn can definitely deal with any of those 140 pounders that are coming up that will fight eventually at 147. He's too big for those guys. He's quick and explosive. And then guys like Haney and Norman, what he put on last night, what he showed me last night, that he can, that he definitely can box a little bit and box enough to be what I would call a puncher boxer. He's still a puncher, right, Benn? But he knows how to box when he needs to. That's the style that I teach, and that's the style that I think is the most prevalent in regards to the most dangerous, should I say, not the most prevalent, because most people don't do it, but it's the most dangerous style, I think, in boxing is puncher boxer, right? And the reason I say that is because if you're a puncher who can really punch, like you legitimately have power, but you can fight gracefully on your toes when you need to, a boxer puncher would be a Sugar Ray Leonard, meaning a guy who leads with boxing and lets the knockout come to him, right? That's a safe power puncher, a guy that can, have you follow him around and get you out of here. But a puncher boxer is a guy like a Marvin Hagler, right? He's looking to hurt you. Like Benn is looking to hurt you, right? He's looking to knock you out. But if you have anything in the tank, or if you have any ripples in your game, and you can, fight on your toes, you can change angles, things like that, a puncher boxer can adapt to that and still be able to adjust with you, instead of just being like one of those straight line ABC fighters. So I think the future is bright for Benn at any weight sub 154. 147 is probably the lowest he can go. When you look at the way his career started, both of those guys, they're silver spoon kids. They're not kids that are guys or young men who needed boxing. They had money. They grew up silver spoon, sort of. And for them to come out the way they came out, as far as with true grit, true heart, shows that's in the DNA, man, because Benn has no reason to really fight other than the want to. And those are the type of champions, or the type of fighters I like anyway. You know what I mean? I don't want the prize fighter, the guy that's fighting because he needs money and wants money only, right? Yeah, you're going to get money for doing this. But I like the guy that it's just in you. This is what you would be doing if it was free. You know what I mean? Those are the guys that create champions, are great champions. And I think Benn definitely can be that at 47. So hats go off to him, man. It was a hell of a fight. Both guys had to put it all on the line. Like I said, stylistically, that in and out style, that body jab was effective. He had a progressive offense. And when I say a progressive offense, I don't see a lot of boxers using a progressive style of offense. And when I say progressive, I mean a tree. There's a tree to your offense. Sugar Ray Robinson used to have a progressive offense where he would establish the jab early, first round, he's circling left, right, establishing his jab. And you guys can watch this, as I said, or you can go Google it afterward. But he would work his way around you with the jab for the first 2-3 rounds just to get the jab established. And these aren't feints. They're hard jabs. There's no soft jab, nothing quick. Hard jabs on purpose to set up feints with that jab in the third or fourth round. So now in the third or fourth round, when that fighter adjusts to that jab and now is looking for the jab, now behind that, he's setting up his right hand to the body. Sugar Ray Robinson would be. You know what I'm saying? So now it's progressive, meaning I give you something to take away on purpose. I establish it so that you have to counter it, look for it, take it away. And then when I see that you've adjusted to that, I'm already on to my next adjustment in regards to my offensive tree. And then, you know, as you go on, the combinations develop and the setups develop based off of that progress. And Benn was doing that. He set up the body jab beautifully. Off that body jab, he was able to set up overhand rights and right hands to the body because that body jab was forcing Eubank to freeze a little bit. As he froze, you saw, you know, he had a two-way go. Benn did. You know, he could change levels, throw a right hand to the body, or he can just throw those overhand rights to the head, depending on the leverage that Eubanks presented. So he was presenting problems for Eubanks with that. And then as Eubanks caught on to the jabs and the right hands to the body, he started getting hit clean with the rights to the head and so on. Then the hooks start developing off of that. And then it became a fight. You know what I'm saying? So for him to stay patient enough to watch that offense sort of blossom the way it did in that fight, that's something that most fighters today don't even they don't do it. They fight random. They get into tip-top shape, you know, and then they're going. Their strategy is I'm gonna tire you out and then I'm gonna walk you down, right? Most of the time, that's what most fighters are doing today. They're just super athletic. You know what I'm saying? They're endurance monsters or attrition monsters that are just strong, fast, and quick. But I don't see the IQ all the time in the game. I respect it when I do see it. Like Gervonta Davis gets way more respect from me than he gets from a lot of other boxing fans because I'm watching a guy that's 5'5", 5'6", something like that, set up guys that are bigger than him, naturally bigger. He's setting them up early in fights because he'll sit in front of you and let you throw punches to tire you out and also to get a read on your timing, your speed, your distance, how you judge it, your angles, your combinations. He's standing right in front of you taking pictures. That's what Gervonta Davis will do. And then he'll slowly chop you down after that. He'll start catching you with shots after he gets your timing down. That's a style that he doesn't need to watch film with that type of style because that's a style where he can come into a fight and he's gathering data and information in the first 3 rounds. That's a high boxing IQ. And I can see him doing it. You can watch Rolly Romero. He didn't come out and try to fight Rolly. He didn't even come out and try to fight Ryan Garcia, even though he knocked him out pretty quick. He didn't come out quickly trying to fight Frank Martin. He studies his opponents while in the ring in front of you. That takes IQ and patience and understands that, hey, I don't have to win every round. I just have to make it, you know, close and decisive in those rounds. But again, seeing guys that are able to do that in this era is a breath of fresh air. So I didn't think Benn had that in him. I'm very surprised that he was able to do something other than be a brawler like his father, right? So much respect to him. Much more respect to him than I had even after the first fight, which the first fight I thought that he put it all on the line, but he sold blood. I don't believe in selling blood. If it had, you got to do it, you got to do it. Meaning you get in a fight, selling blood is, I know that I'm taking damage to beat you. Like a Joe Frazier style is selling blood. You know what I mean? I'm taking years off my life every time I step in the ring, literally, because I'm trading 1 punch for 5. That's selling blood. And that's what Benn did the first fight. He was selling blood. But this fight he actually boxed, and that was beautiful to see. Much respect. Let me see what you guys are talking about in here real quick. Eric Dallas said, I think simply the weight, he needs a year or 2 off and gradually adjust to 68. He's got 2 good fights left. Yeah, I agree. His post in the ring response was solid. Yeah, that's a man right there. Say it's all about him and be that gracious. You don't see that either. You don't see that many real ones. I don't even like saying real ones no more because everybody a real one, everybody a thug, everybody's him. Everybody, you know what I mean? And you are in your own regard. I won't take that away from anybody. Everybody has their own trials, tribulations, and things that they've overcome to be that which they claim to be, right? But you still know, you know, there's a hierarchy. there's champions and there's winners and losers for a reason in a competitive market or competitive world. But I don't like saying those things because everybody takes the value out of those statements because there is, nobody wants to lose and everybody gets a trophy nowadays. I don't believe in none of that. There is a winner, there is a loser. There is a hierarchy in this world. Period. There's no way around that. You know what I mean? And I like those who are willing to put it all on the line to determine where they rank or where they fit in that hierarchy. And that's what those guys did. That's what Eubanks definitely did. He said, "Hey man, he was the better man today." You know what I mean? Can't take nothing away from that type of response or that type of logic after the fight. Endless Crusade said, "History proves in boxing that going back down in weight after blowing up never ends well." It's not a back down for Benn though. So if you follow Benn's career, Benn's been all over the place weight wise because he started boxing pretty late. He never was established at any given weight. He's kind of like he didn't have his team doing the right things, what I say. So it's not really a back down because I have a junior welterweight. He's at 140, who really should have been at 135 most of his amateur career and so on. It's just that I started professionally training fighters in 2017, 2016, somewhere in there. So it was my lack of experience that had me have him fighting at higher weights because he's a construction worker at first. So he was kind of blown up, strong, whatever, you know what I mean? So I'm like, oh, he can deal with 47. He can deal with 54. But I had him fighting guys at 54, 47. These guys are 6'1", walk around weight 180. You know what I mean? He's never been above 160. You know what I'm saying? But he could fight he's been above 160, probably 165-ish walk around, but nothing. He's a slender, explosive guy. And when I look at his frame, when I got closer to other camps, I started seeing that guys who were fighting at 54 were larger than him by a long shot. You know what I'm saying? 30 pounds, give or take, of natural frame, right? They just can manipulate their weight in such a way to get down, right? He's cut up. Even at 60, he's cut up. So getting down for him is harder because he's shedding muscle, not fat. So I used to not try to kill him to get to 140 or 135. I said, all right, we're gonna start off like 54, 47. And I put him in a fight, his third fight, against a kid from Jacksonville who was 54, right? And naturally 54. And he lost his fight. But his punching power, his name's Hakeem Harmon, his punching power is so crazy that he still was able to hurt this guy, and he's much bigger. So he was able to hurt guys a lot larger than him, a lot like Benn is doing, like Ben did with Eubanks, because he's a powerful guy, right? But he's naturally supposed to be at 140. And at 140, even Hakeem Harmon is only 3-1 right now, right? At 140, I don't care who you are. If you get hit by him, either hand, you're going to sleep quick. And I'm not talking about an accumulation of punches. He can hit you one time. He was a jackhammer worker, construction worker. He hit you one time, he gets you right the fuck out of here. But I say all that to say to your point, I'm bringing him down, and he looks hella better down because he's fighting guys that are his true size. Finally, my son as well. He does jujitsu. He's fighting guys at 205, but he's 5'8". He was 5'8", blown up, stocky 205. Fighting guys that really are walking around 250, so on, and he's blown up 205. My son's supposed to be fighting at 175. When I got him down, we started getting our weight cuts down. Like we just went to Vegas in August. When I got him down to 140, 175 and got him where he needs to be, those guys, he's quicker than the guys at his true weight, and he's stronger because he's been dealing with bigger guys for so long. He's way stronger than the guys at his natural weight, and he looks dominant now. He's only a blue belt. So that definitely, you're right, but anecdotally, it can be done. It just depends on the fighter and the situation. If you're going up and you're putting on muscle like Roy Jones did versus John Ruiz, that's a different conversation. I don't know what my camera keeps going in and out of focus. What's going on here? Focus, man. There we go. Focus. It looks shaky now. I don't know why. I think it's because I shook the table or something and make me look like I'm now I look like I need glasses and shit. But anyway, Roy Jones, when he went up to fight Ruiz, that's a different conversation. So I think that's what you're referencing. But the reason it was hard for him is because in order to go up, he added actual muscle. and then didn't fight any tune-ups when he came back down. So you're right, but anecdotally, it can be done. All right. I mean, that means individual. Devin is one of those silver spoon fighters. I would say so. Yeah, Devin, but Devin got heart though. I'm gonna get into Devin in 1 second. Eubank tried to outpoint and out time and box or punch last. That's something he's never been. Why try reinvent himself at 36? I don't think Eubank was trying to outpoint him. I think Eubanks didn't have anything to deal with because he was waiting for the fight to come to him, and it never did. Um, Benn never sat in front of Eubanks. I don't know why it's like I don't like how my camera's looking. There it goes. There we go. Ben never fought. Ben never engaged with Eubanks when he wanted to. So if your style, if you look at a guy and you watch his entire career, he's never been anything other than a slugger. Like Ben has never been anything other than a slugger. I don't know where this style of Ben has been, but he's never been anything other than a brawler. You prepare for a chest-to-chest war. And Eubanks would have done pretty well in that type of fight, even with himself looking drained like he did. He would have done well in that type of fight because you can see his timing off the counters was good. So if he was inside, if Ben was stayed inside and gave Eubanks more real estate and more opportunity to exchange, oh, it would have been he would have done well if that's what I think he was preparing for. But that didn't happen. So if you're waiting for a guy to slow down, I've seen guys do this too. You're like, okay, a guy's on his toes, and he's fighting well on his toes for the first 4 rounds. You're hitting him though, and you're saying, hey, he can't do this for 12 rounds. Some can, and Ben did. You know what I'm saying? But if you're waiting for him to slow down, you're waiting for this guy to waiting for attrition to kind of kick in, and this guy to slow down, and it doesn't happen. Therein lies the problem, right? And that's what we saw. That's what the issue was. I don't think it was he tried to reinvent himself. He just didn't get the opportunities that he usually gets. He did a lot against Liam Smith too, but Liam is a puncher, as Connor is. Yep. Look at Chris Bird, Chad Dawson, Paul Williams. When they all come back down, it was so apparent. Chris Bird, it was no back down for Chris Bird. Chris Bird was never really a heavyweight anyway. You know what I'm saying? But when he came back down, he was already shot from being a heavyweight. You know what I'm saying? Like Ike Abeabuchi, if you ever watched that fight with Chris Bird, Ike Abeabuchi, the El Presidente, crazy Nigerian nightmare ass fighter, man. I don't know if anybody ever heard of Ike Abeabuchi, but he's a legend to me. I know this is kind of off topic, but he a legend to me. Watch him fight David Tua. That's a classic fight. 2 heavyweights threw over, I think, 1,200 punches, 1,000 punches each. That was a war. And Ike Abeabuchi, I think he was trained by Georgie Benton. It's not Georgie Benton. He comes from a long tree, though. It's either Eddie Futch or Georgie Benton trained him. And Ike Abeabuchi was going to be great. He just went crazy and started like hearing voices and shit, and had a situation where he like held a hooker hostage in Vegas or something like that. Man, got arrested. But that fight against him and David Tua, I said, damn, that's crazy. And Chris Bird, I don't know what the hell he was thinking. He took a fight against this man after that David Tua fight, and Ike Abeabuchi knocked his fucking brain through his ear hole. He tried to kill him. So yeah, he went back down, but Chris Bird was shot after that. After the Ike Abeabuchi fight, Chris Bird was never the same. Bad Chad. Chad Dawson went down to 68, but when he went down to 68 to fight Ward, that was just dumb. It wasn't like he went down and had a tune-up or none of that. He just went down because Ward asked him to come down. He went down. Shouldn't have did that. He wasn't going to beat Ward at 75, but I would have made Ward come up to my natural weight for sure. I wouldn't have fought him at 68. Ward would have had to come to me. Chad chased the money, and he sold blood, and he paid for it. That's what happened to him. And Paul Williams had a car accident. That's what his problem was. Paul Williams, when he got knocked out against, I think, Sergio Martinez, Paul Williams was never anything other than a guy that was selling blood. Anyway, Paul Williams was just a rock'em sock'em southpaw robot, meaning he threw a lot of punches but had no defense ever. He's never was slick or never looked good. So eventually his punch resistance was going to wear out eventually anyway, regardless. He said, yeah, I'm 54. I'm 53. Ike Abeabuchi was a monster. He got out from his bid. I remember that Bird fight. Yeah. Ike Abeabuchi was a legend. Like I looked at him like that was the guy that nobody would have beat Ike Abeabuchi easily anyway. I don't see how you beat that guy because he can take a punch, he can box, like literally box, but he was built like Mike Tyson, but taller, like 6'2", I think, but a monster. Quick, good jab, punch resistance, went toe-to-toe with David Tua and was taking David Tua's left hand like it was nothing for 12 rounds. You know, that is an animal, crazy guy. But moving on. You guys, we talked about we'll talk about Haney again. We've been covering Haney for a minute, but Ortiz and Lubin, everybody's hype off Ortiz the way he dismantled Lubin. You guys are talking about Eubanks not looking right, and I was talking about him not looking right. But if someone really, if I say somebody really doesn't look right, you remember when Roy Jones, his punch resistance was just over with after he got knocked out a couple times? I think Lubin is there. Lubin did not look right. So it's a great fight. It's a great camouflage fight, I think. And I say camouflage because he knocked Lubin out, which is supposed to be stiffer competition. He knocked him out so fast, right? That now that conversation between him and Boots, Ortiz and Boots, just became a lot richer, right? So it's a good camouflage fight because the name was good enough and he dismantled him well enough for you to say, oh, this is a crash course, right? But it's also Trojan horse or fool's gold, I think. Because I don't think it's fool's gold for Ortiz as much because it seems like they understand, like they kind of backsliding on the Boots fight, right? It seems like they don't want it as bad as you might think, right? But because I think they have leverage now, obviously, business wise, I get it. But Ortiz, that fight set up Ortiz for an ass whooping, I think, because Boots is not Lubin, number one. Lubin, that style that he fought, he started off, flat. And then when he got hit, he just stood on the ropes because he didn't have the punch resistance. As soon as he got caught with a clean punch, he couldn't field it. So it was really, I think that leading up to this fight, Ortiz probably had tougher sparring matches than what he got against Lubin, for real. So looking at Ortiz's natural style, high octane offense coming forward, that is built for Boots. Like he's tailor made for Boots. So I hope they make the fight because that is the fight that will make everybody think that Boots is what he actually is, which is a monster. But I don't think Boots is in any danger fighting Ortiz. And I know people going to say I'm tripping. Ortiz is Ortiz. Yeah, yep, he is. But I don't think Boots is in any danger. I watch the guys that he likes to fight. The styles that he likes to fight, that he does very well against, are exactly that style. High octane, strong, powerful bulls that are pressure fighters. I send pressure fighters to spar him. And I've seen what they're able to do against him. That's what he likes. Roman Vila types. They're coming at you. They're trying to hurt you. Boots loves that. The guys that will give Boots problems are guys that can take angles, that can box, that actually are boxer punchers. They will give him problems, I think, because they have already. But Ortiz ain't that guy. Ortiz is going to walk him down or try, and Ortiz is going to get fucked up. So this fight actually set Ortiz up for an ass whooping, a bad one, because now the confidence will be there and the fans want to see it even more now because it's like, hey, you got to fight this guy now because both you showed that you great. He showed that he was great in his last performance. Supposedly, I don't think either one of them had had a performance that they were in any danger in their last fight, Boots or Ortiz. But the difference is, I think Boots, his style, the way he likes to fight, he loves guys like Ortiz. I watched them bring in Russian guys that his dad is training that are like cruiserweights. Boots will play with those guys. He'll walk them down and play with them like I'm serious, like and stronger than them. You know what I'm saying? So a guy like Ortiz, you don't present anything. Like you don't. He has accumulative punching power. He's quick, he's strong, but he's going to be right in front of you. That is not dangerous to Boots. And that's not because I'm in Philadelphia. I'm from Philly. There is no bias in that statement, but that's not dangerous to him. So I think that Lubin fight just set up a great fight between Ortiz and Boots. And I don't think Boots is in any trouble. I think he's slated to have a performance. And mark my words, y'all can mark this video. You can come back. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, tag, send it, whatever, save it, whatever you do. You can come back and see this. But I think he's setting up a performance like Floyd versus Diego Corrales. Everybody thought Diego Corrales' style was dangerous for Floyd. And even Floyd probably thought that. But Floyd dismantled him. Dismantled a man that we think still to this day, rest in peace, we think that he was a great lightweight. I still think he was, Diego Corrales, not to Floyd. I think that Ortiz is a great junior middleweight, but not the Boots. Boots gonna kill him. All right. Mark my words. Mark my words. I wish Eubank adopted a mindset like Sakio Bika. Obviously, he doesn't have the same strength. Why would he adopt the mindset like Sakio Bika? Sakio Bika was like, to me, he's like the Glenn Johnson. He's like a Glenn Johnson type of guy. Strong African guy. Um, doesn't have natural athleticism. Sakio Bika was just a strong guy, but his reflexes and his timing was strange. He had good defense, good punch resistance, but he had a herky jerky, weird, unorthodox style. His right hand was like rounded off. He didn't throw straight right hands. It's almost like he couldn't fully extend his right hand. I remember Sakio Bika. I liked him, but I don't think him and Eubanks are in the same stratosphere at all. I truly believe Lubin felt something early because shelling up on the ropes like that could have never been in his game plan. Exactly, but for him to feel it there, I didn't even see. I've watched it like 10 times. I can't see where it was like it was definitive. And sometimes that happens though. Like sometimes I've been sparring guys where my hand is up and the kinetic energy from them punching my glove still travels through my head. You know what I'm saying? So it could be something like that where you fight a guy who knows how to put his weight into a punch, because some guys are just arm punchers or explosive punchers, but if they don't have a clear target, if they don't hit you clean, like Crawford's like that. Crawford's a sharp puncher. He's not a guy that if you block and he gonna hurt you. But if he hits you clean, he can knock you out because of the sharpness of his punches, but not the thud of the punch. He's not a thudding puncher. Hagler is the guy where if you're blocking, you still done. Foreman, if you're blocking, it don't matter. You still done. And maybe Ortiz has that because Lubin was defending himself and still got hurt. I don't know where he got hurt, but he got hurt. Luzin hasn't been the same since Fandor. True. I bet on Lubin. He looked like he took a dive. I don't think he took no dive, bro. Nah, Eric, he got clipped and was out on his feet. Yep, he could see his body become limp. I could see that. Yep. He said, Paul said, I agree with you about Boots and Ortiz. Yep. I never understood how all this hype developed around Boots and Virgil. Boots will beat the dog shit out of Virgil. Robert Garcia knows better. He will beat the dog. You know it. He will beat the dog shit out of him. But they want to see it. So, like I said, it's one of those Trojan horse fights where it's going to take him, just like Floyd got launched into the upper echelon after Diego Corrales. I think that Boots will now as well because he needed a name, and no name wants to fight him. But now he has a name that is on a crash course in his division that kind of has to fight him now because of what he just did. If Ortiz struggled, I think fans even would have said, he needs a couple more fights. Even fans would have agreed, right? But the way he beat Lubin, like I said, it's over for him now. He just set himself up. So now they're doing the right thing, though. Him and De La Hoya. De La Hoya's a genius. He knows that Ortiz can't beat Boots. But he's saying, like, yeah, we're A side. He's trying to say, you basically you're gonna have to pay me to fight this guy. You're gonna have to, because we got the juice right now. You're gonna have to pay us ridiculous money for us to fight Boots. That's what De La Hoya is saying. We want A side treatment if you want to beat my guy up, because we can go make money elsewhere right now with the type of fanfare he just gained. We can make money doing something else. So you either pay me like we weigh, or we gonna make you wait for your greatness, because Boots can't enter the greatness conversation until the greats or the goods or the potentially greats start to give him an opportunity to fight them. Nobody wants to fight him because nobody has seen an answer that makes sense. And then the one that you could say, like I forget the Russian guy who boxed him twice, 12 rounds. But you could say, yeah, if you could fight on your toes, you could probably give him some trouble. But who can do it? How many can do it? How many can fight like that for 12 rounds? You got what? Harrison, he's not at 54 anymore. He'll get hit eventually. Lara, he's old. Nobody wants to see Lara versus Boots, and Lara's at 60. You know what I'm saying? So nobody can really box or outbox Boots at 54. Nobody. So that's gonna be something, man. He said, I truly think Charlo gives Boots the most trouble at 54. I would agree with you. But watching both Charlos, don't matter which one, but watching how they box, I think the Charlo brothers have been successful weight bullies for a very long time now, right? They should be 68 plus, light heavyweight type. Their frames alone, they can carry 200 pounds and not look fat. You get what I'm saying? meaning they're big guys, naturally big. Boots ain't exactly small. He could walk around like 180, still, so he's not exactly a little guy either. But what I say about Charlo and those guys is their punch resistance and their career, their punch resistance was so great that they can get into wars with certain guys because they were fighting naturally smaller guys. It was a lot like Hurd, except for Hurd didn't have the athleticism of the Charlos. Hurd was trying to walk guys down and using his face as to block. He was getting like watch Hurd versus Lara. Lara would hit it with anything he wanted, but he couldn't do shit with it. He couldn't stop him. When you look at Margarito, was the same type of guy. He's a wall. You can't hurt him because Margarito right now walks around 195 and looks lean at 95. At 195, he was looking, the last time I saw him anyway, he's looking good. You know what I'm saying? At 195. So for him to be able to get down to 54 and fight guys, those guys that they're naturally walking around 170, 160, they're fighting a naturally bigger man, right? And they couldn't hurt him. And the Charlo's the same way. You couldn't hurt those guys. Like Harrison was hitting Charlo with anything he wanted. He couldn't really get him out of here. He was making him respect him with his sharpness, but he couldn't get him out of here. Whereas Boots hitting him with those same shots, he's gone. He's gone. So that weight bully shit don't work again. Ain't gonna work against Boots because Boots gonna be able to punch through. He can hurt anybody. Get what I'm saying? So that doesn't work. Weight bullying hurts you when you get down to a guy who really can punch or a guy who's truly a boxing savant. That has never ever failed in boxing, in my opinion. I haven't seen it. Bernard Hopkins versus Tito Trinidad. Tito's not a weight bully, right? But Tito was a puncher that can punch like a heavyweight, right? Bernard is just a true boxer. You know what I mean? His strategy by circling to his right, he fought Trinidad like he was a southpaw. I mean, he circled to his right the whole time, smothering the left hand, making it so that Trinidad had to use his right. And Trinidad didn't have a well-developed right. He couldn't do shit with him. You know what I'm saying? It was like Rubik's Cube solved. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing when you look at Hurd versus Julian Williams. We were in that camp too. My fighters were in that camp with Williams, helping him prepare for Jarrett Hurd. And that was May 11th, 2019, I think they fought. But Jarrett Hurd had nothing for J-Rock because J-Rock could actually punch, but it wasn't the punching power that got him. It was like he has a boxing IQ, can fight inside, outside, so on. And Hurd is an accumulative puncher, not a power puncher. So he couldn't really do much with J-Rock because, he couldn't hit him with anything that could get J-Rock out of here. The things that give J-Rock trouble is guys who have ridiculous punching power because he doesn't have the punch resistance anymore, but he does have the boxing IQ, the reflexes, and so on. So, man, I say all that to say, yes, Charlo is you're correct about Charlo being the toughest competition at 54, but Charlo can't fuck with Boots either because his defense is not at a level where his boxing ability is not at a level where he can outbox Boots, and his defense isn't at a level where he can deal with what's coming at him. So if he does do anything as a conventional fighter that makes Boots think twice, Boots is going to switch his style up. He's not going to walk him down. He can fight from the outside and never ever engage if he doesn't want to. He can outbox you when he wants to, right? And then he can walk you down when you look like you're struggling. So I don't see the Charlos beating him, but I would like to see the fight. Hurd had no defense. I honestly think he was one of boxing's biggest overachievers, for sure, because he was a weight. But that's what weight. Look, I'm right now 240, man. If you somehow can make me feel healthy at 160, if I was healthy and I felt good at 160 right now, and I've been 240 to up sub 240 or between 240 and 200 pounds since I was 18 years old. So I've been larger for most of my life. I've been dealing with, larger people. I've been adapting my calisthenics to this frame. My push-ups, I can sit down right now and do 70 to 100 push-ups, no problem. Right now, right? I can run 5 miles right now at 240. If you took my same level of athleticism, even at 42, and you made me 160, and I still felt this way at 160, I don't think there's a 160 pounder that's going to hurt me quickly unless he got real bona fide power like Wilder, Gervonta Davis, Boots, those guys that could put you down with one shot. Unless you got that, you're not going to really hurt me at 160. You know what I mean? And that's what I mean by weight bullies. You know what I'm saying? Guys who've been walking around way big. Miguel Cotto was 200 something pounds when he was 12 years old. He's a big ass young boy. So when he started fighting at 147, when he 140, 130, 140 when he was older, he's naturally a fat kid. He was a fat kid, big kid. Get what I'm saying? Same thing with Benavidez. He was a fat kid, big guy. He's big, but he's fighting guys that are smaller. You know what I'm saying? So you're not gonna hurt him with one shot unless you got that type of shot in you. And most boxers today, most trainers don't know how to develop power because they listen to old adages like power, you're born with it, or you're not. You can develop power. I know how to teach power, but it's in movement. It's not static. You gotta chop wood. You got to actually use certain movements, like, you know what I mean, compound movements with weight, with resistance. And then you also have to strengthen your wrists and the way you actually hold your hands and the way you throw your punches. Your technique got to change in order for power to develop. But power definitely can be developed. I teach it. I watch a lot of guys train. I go to gyms now. I train with guys. I watch them train. They can't. I'm 42, and they can't do what I can do. So boxing is in a bad space when it comes to the way trainers are teaching today. There's only a few of them I respect. A lot of them are actually in Philly that I respect. Shout out to Reg. Shout out to Breadman Steve Edwards. That's my man. Shout out to Rel. Shout out to Greg Hackett. You know, these guys can train. Shout out to Bozy, obviously. But Philly is full of trainers that know how to teach what I'm talking about. But they'll make you a dog, though. You're going to be walking guys down after you learn them. But power, we can teach power here. We teach it. I truly think, yeah, you said that. Yeah, I said that. I think J-Rock would have been a nightmare for Boots. No, nope. Those guys spar now. No, he ain't a nightmare for Boots. Nope, not at all. I was born and raised in Philly, so I know you know your boxing. Like you said a couple of shows ago, the bus driver in Philly can fight. Man, well, literally, one of them actually you probably knew, Sam T. Rest in peace, Sam T. He got killed, you know, in a altercation with his baby mom's boyfriend or whatever, you know. But he was a SEPTA driver. Sam T was was a contender and a SEPTA bus driver. So you're exactly right. Bus drivers jumping off the bus will whoop your ass in Philly. Postal workers will whoop your ass in Philly. Guys like me, run up on me if you want to. If you ain't got it, don't fight me, man. And I'm not even talking like no tough guy. Just like I'm going to catch you eventually. You know what I mean? You might beat me the fuck up for about a good 30 seconds, but once I see what you're doing, I'm going to hurt you. Or you better knock me the fuck out quick. You know what I'm saying? But that is like that. Like Sam T, funny story. Anas Moussaoudi, one of my fighters from Morocco, came here. We were on a crash course because I told him, I think I told part of the story before, but I was like, hey man, stop knocking guys out in Philly because Philly gonna be on your ass. Like Philly, once your name go around that you one of those guys that's, you know, coming to gyms trying to give crazy work like that. Philly is known for gym wars. They love it here. So don't do, if you want real work, meaning you just want to work on your jab, you want to work on your boxing ability, which is why Nas came to me, was to learn how to work on his toes. I said, well, stop going into slugging matches and sparring because you get in wars. You learning how to be a dog here now because you try to knock everybody out and they try to knock you out now. So nobody's working on boxing at all. You know what I'm saying? So I told him to stop doing that. He was arrogant. I like this is my man. Like we cool as shit, but he is an arrogant motherfucker. I love him to death. But Anas Moussaoudi, he's arrogant, meaning he actually spars and works in Eubank's camp too, because he works out of Belgium, in the UK. He's a Moroccan fighter, but fights out of the UK. Him and his brother Nabil. But I'm like, yo, bro, stop trying to knock everybody out. He kept doing it. Coach, this is nothing, coach. I don't want to come back to Philadelphia. I'm going to Miami next time. I'm like, all right. So last week here, you know what I mean? I take him over to Bozy Gym. He spars Sam T. And the reason he got to spar Boots is because Boots and that entire gym watched him knock Sam T, rest in peace. No disrespect, but he knocked him out of the ring with a body shot. Nas did to Sam T. But Sam T is one of those bus drivers, like you said, that will get your ass the fuck up out of here. But Nas came, knocked him out of the ring, and then him and Boots sparred later on that week. And he jumped out the ring. He's like, man, he trying to hurt me, coach. Yeah, I know. You know what I'm saying? But you've been trying to hurt everybody this entire week. You know what I mean? So anyway, I ain't feel bad for him. I'm like, you've been trying to kill everybody and their mama. You know what I mean? But you're right. Philly is that. Philly is that. So Eric, yeah, you definitely know your shit. You from Philly for sure. Cause Sam T is like, you know what I mean? Everybody don't know Sam. But yeah, man. Outside of the Boots and Ortiz fight, which I think should happen in the first quarter of next year, people talking about this Joshua versus Paul fight. If Joshua and Jake Paul sign the contract, if Jake Paul signs the contract, I will watch the fight because it's entertainment. This is a WWE now, right? I will watch it. But I would think that the only way you can get Jake Paul to sign a contract against Anthony Joshua if he knows Anthony Joshua is going to take it easy on him in that fight. Otherwise, there is no way in hell that he signs that contract. So if he signed that contract to fight Anthony Joshua, it's because Anthony Joshua is taking a dive and getting paid for it. That's it. Or not even taking a dive, maybe taking a fight where they're going to go to war and he's not going to try to knock you out. Something like that. He's going to pull his punches. I don't think that you're in your right mind, never having fought a real professional boxer, and Jake Paul should play with Anthony Joshua in any stretch of the imagination. I don't give a fuck what you saw or what you think you are. Especially you're going from a Gervonta, which you were scared of. I think Gervonta was going to beat his ass to Anthony Joshua. I watched this kid Toro, right? And I watch a lot of, I mean, obviously I'm in the gym all the time. Every week I'm in the gym all the time, all day. I don't even record. I should record that type of shit and bring it to you because you probably would get a kick out of those types of things. But there's like the gyms in Philly is like the streets. If you really from the streets, this is why I don't trust rappers, all that bullshit that they be talking, right? Most of the shit that rappers be talking, either myself or my friends and family have done, right? And the one thing that I know that's common amongst everybody who really doing some shit is, you better bring the fucking camera around here. What the fuck wrong with you? Get what I'm saying? And so the streets is like that, but boxing is like that too. If you're walking around the gyms with a camera, you kind of look like a weirdo unless you are known for media. They're looking at you as an outsider. I like you crazy because you don't want that type of, you don't want footage getting out. So I don't take a lot of footage from the gyms and bring them for you guys to see because I don't want to look like the guy that's like, you know what I mean, trying to catch a moment. You know what I mean? So I just don't do it as much, but I will do it. He said, you gonna break down next week's card? Oh yeah, I'm breaking that week. That card is crazy. It is. I'm gonna break it down. He said, did you see Kurt Scobie versus Azim Akoye? Yeah, I watched it, man. Man, I'm kind of like Kurt Scobie he's one of those guys that's like Ortiz to me, right? He played football, so he's super strong, got crazy punch resistance. He's not really a weight bully, I would say, but yeah, because when he's playing football, he was nowhere near 140. He's probably 200 pounds, somewhere up there. You get what I'm saying? Or 180. You get what I'm saying? He was definitely up there. I got to check, but he was a football player. So to come down and be able to, fight guys at 140, those guys are naturally too little for him, right? But when you have that type of style like Scobie has, Scobie's more like Schofield. Schofield is actually learning though. Scobie is just strong and explosive, but Schofield is learning how to become a puncher boxer. He's learning. I like Schofield. I didn't like him when I first saw him. I evaluated Schofield before he was anybody. Rick Ross was trying to sign him. He sent him to me, and then we went and watched him in Dallas spar, and he got dropped a couple times with body shots. I was like, true boxers was whooping his ass. Boxers, right? Guys like Richard Hitchens, Lil Africa, those types of guys give guys like Schofield and Scobie problems because they can really box, but they can punch. Boxer punchers give them problems, right? I was hoping Scobie would build his career up a little bit more before losing because he's one of those guys. If I got a guy that's around 140, 147, he's a perfect guy to make you look good if you can box and punch. Like if you're a good puncher, like he's a walking machine, but like a Frank Martin type guy, but good to punch on. I was wanting him to lose a little later because I wanted to put somebody up against him maybe that can look good against that type of style. But yeah, Azim did exactly what you're supposed to do against a guy like that. Body shots, a lot of movement. He didn't know what to do with the movement or the angles because he's just walking right at you, walking into punches. Scobie was getting that ass whipped, man, and then he's getting dug to the body. But you can see even the way he lost. You could tell he's a weight bully because the body shot that really put him down, he got hit with it maybe 30 seconds before he went down. He was still trying to fight, and then he was getting hit with other shots. And he just took the knee. You could see him touching his liver because that body shot would have ended a guy. If Azim would have hit a guy that was his natural size with that body shot, he would have went down immediately. He was able to walk through it, but he couldn't deal with it. That body shot was clean because his hands was high, and he got hit with a left hook to the body that I saw. I was like, oh, he dug all the way into that. And I thought that, I was like, well, maybe if he can't punch or something's wrong because he walked right through it. And then about 30 seconds later, he took that knee and he didn't really, he didn't even argue with the stoppage. He was like, All right, because he knew. But yeah, I watched that fight, man. Scobie was never something that I was looking at as special. I thought that, just like Frank Martin, that he can go far because of his football background, because he is tough, he is strong, he is explosive, and those guys are too small to deal with him. Because imagine a football player who's dealing with guys 300 pounds on a regular basis without a problem going down to fight a guy that's 140 and been 140 his whole life, or been 105, started his boxing career at 115 type shit. Those guys ain't big enough. Man, they can outbox you. They're smarter. They got a better IQ. But the equalizer is he's a good big man coming down to fight a good little man. He gonna fuck you up most of the time, right? Most of the time. Let's see what else we got. Scobie was turning me off. He was talking too much. Yeah, yeah. All that talk is like, I don't, like I said, the gangster talk is crazy to me, man. Like I said, New York is really I nothing against y'all, but I went to college with some New Yorkers, man. That gangster talk really got on my nerve when I was like 18. I'm like, yo, Philly, we was whooping ass on Lincoln campus too. Cause Philly different. Like we talk shit, but it'd be like we bid on you type talk shit. It's not tough guy talk. And if it is tough guy talk, we about to do something. It's not, that tough shit sound crazy to me. Like, and Scobie was talking way too gangster. And then to get humbled like that against like Super Nerd and Azim, he got beat up by Nerd, man. That was revenge of the nerds for sure. He seemed more like a pure athlete than a boxer, which he obviously is. Yep. But he can't box at all. Nope. Off topic, he said, Akoye, what are your thoughts on Andre Ward? He, alongside B-Hop, are my favorite fighters. Andre Ward is definitely a legend to me. I love Andre Ward. I think Andre benefited, though, from this era. Andre in this era, he could fight in any era, don't get me twisted. But in this era, to be a guy who clearly tore his shoulder up, he tore his right shoulder up a long time ago. He was fighting one-handed for a long time. So as good as we think Andre Ward is, you have very rarely, I don't think we've ever seen Andre Ward at his best in his entire pro career, which shows how good he really could have been. Because Andre Ward never had a right hand. And he never had a right hand because, one, he's left-handed. So that's number one. He's left-handed fighting as a conventional fighter. That's number one. So his jab is super educated, number one. But number two, he tore his right shoulder up too. So, until he got that surgery, I think before Kovalev, he couldn't really, fully rotate his right hand. So Andre Ward, special because he's beating you off of IQ and off of one hand. Most fighters, I don't understand how they didn't understand this, because I used to look at it like when I was boxing, especially, you're not going to hit me with too many jabs, bro. Like, you're not. So if all you got, and I know all you got is a left hand, I don't think you're gonna beat me up that bad. You know what I'm saying? But Andre Ward's fucking people up with one hand. And I don't know if they just don't know boxing. That's why I said this era he benefited. Because in yesteryear, a guy like Roy Jones at 168, I mean, obviously Roy Jones is crazy with it, but even James Toney, you put him up against those types of guys, I don't think Andre Ward is anything. You know what I mean? He's Virgil Hill against Roy Jones, or he's a Mike McCallum against a James Toney. I think those guys beat him, right? But in this era, he was dominant. Or in his era, he was dominant, because the Mikhail Kesslers, the Kovalevs, these are ABC fighters. When I say ABC, ain't a lot of ripples or wrinkles to their game. It's just they come right at you. They got power. They got good athleticism. They're quick, right? They're long, right? Arthur Abrahams, those types of guys. You know what I'm saying? I would have liked to see him versus Darrell, because I think Darrell had the boxing ability, the puncher power, and the athleticism, but he lacked the heart and the toughness. I don't think Darrell's heart was enough to do. I think Ward would have beat him because of heart. You know what I mean? But yeah, Dre Ward, that left hand was crazy. That's what I can say. B-Hop got me back into boxing. I was out of boxing. I was done with it at about 17, 18. Everybody kept saying, oh, you too smart to box, man. You shouldn't do it. You know what I mean? My ex-wife, she really ain't want me fighting. And I had a kid by 20. So I was like, I got to go work and make some money. But at 18, I watched Bernard over and over again. I was watching him fight. I think I was up on Lincoln campus watching him fight Tito Trinidad. I just watched it. It was 2001, right after 9/11, all that. It was crazy. I was watching that fight, and it re-sparked my passion for boxing, because I look at boxing as a martial art. It is a martial art. So the reason I still train, if you walk around any gym or you see me, I train with the youngins, and they can't fuck with me. I'm not exaggerating. You guys can watch me train. watch what I do, and you can come train. Anybody can come train with me. I don't give a fuck, and I guarantee you can't hang with me in training because I don't treat boxing like it's a sport that's a prize fighter. Well, I can't, a lot of fighters that I know are out of shape now because it was a prize fight to them. They were fighting because it was money involved. They weren't boxing because it's a martial art to them. Like you never seen a fat karate instructor. You wouldn't go to a jujitsu instructor that couldn't do jujitsu anymore because he no longer competes, right? But in boxing, we do that, right? We get trainers who never fought or trainers who can't fight no more. You know what I'm saying? Why not? Why y'all can't fight no more? Because they no longer train after they stop their professional career, right? Boxing is a martial art. It's a martial art. If you treat it like that, you should be able to beat guys that are naturally faster, like a Zim versus Scobie. Naturally faster, naturally bigger, naturally stronger. That don't mean you win because boxing creates, if you have the IQ, it creates mismatches. Your power, I can neutralize that just from judging distance and figuring your torque out, figuring your angles out. Bernard figured Trinidad's angle out just by standing on his left shoulder. So instead of circling away from, and Bernard told you after the fight, but instead of circling away from his left hand by going to his right, going to his left, I mean, and dealing with his right hand, giving him more room to throw a longer left hook, he circled to his right. I'm sitting right up on his left hand. I could see the right, which you're not going to throw. The reason I teach fighters to learn how to go to their right as a conventional fighter, because it gives both southpaws and conventional fighters problems, right? This is just some IQ shit for you. So if you box or if you know boxing, right? Check this out. If you go into your right as a conventional fighter, that southpaw that you're fighting, when you're going to your right, yes, you're circling into his power hand, but how often do guys just throw lead power shots? Don't happen that often. They set it up with their jab, right? But when you're going to your right as a conventional fighter against a southpaw, you can get your jab off now because when you step into your right, you're getting inside his right hand. Now your inside leverage on that. Now you got a good shot for your left to land, your left jab to land. I can see a lot of fighters struggle with southpaws because they don't even understand this because their trainers, old school, but don't understand the truth of what they were watching old school, are telling them you need to get your left foot outside their right foot, out leverage them, which you do, but it's a way to do it. You have to walk them into it. You can't just walk to your left as a conventional fighter and get anywhere with a southpaw because you're going to keep intercepting their right hand. They're going to intercept your left. Y'all going to cancel each other lead hand out, and then y'all trying to time each other. You don't want to throw a right hand lead because when you're coming back off that right hand, now you're getting caught with left hook or overhand lefts from that southpaw when you're coming back, right? So go to your right. Now you got a two-way go every time. You can set up your right hand with your jab as you go to your right. And I watched Pernell Whitaker. If you want to understand how I learned it, I said, how does Pernell Whitaker have a good jab as a southpaw when they cancel each other out? Pernell Whitaker would do the opposite. He would circle to his left as a southpaw, which you're not supposed to do. And then when he stops you, that moment you freeze. So when we're jabbing, that moment you freeze, when you stop your feet, now I've gained the leverage because you're trying to beat me going to the right. You're bringing that right foot over to my right, right? Now I can get outside your right foot easier because you're moving it inward for me instead of trying to beat me going to my left where you're now trying to cancel me out and I stay in. You know what I'm saying? People don't understand that. I watch trainers that don't get it. They don't understand it. And that's why I say boxing is a weird place when it comes to training because they don't even know what I'm talking about. Some trainers don't know what I just told you. Some of y'all might not know what I just told you. But watch, if you want to understand it, watch, since we were talking about Ward, watch Ward versus Chad Dawson. Watch and just watch the feet. Watch Bernard Hopkins. Watch the direction Bernard Hopkins goes against Trinidad. Watch the direction he circles when he's fighting Antonio Tarver and see why he gave him so many problems. Watch when he fought Kelly Pavlik. Why did he give him so many problems? Because he's circling to his right. It gives conventional fighters problems because if you're a conventional fighter, you got to throw everything off your jab, everything coming off the jab. The reason southpaws give conventional fighters problems is because we setting everything up off the jab, right? So if there's a conventional fighter that's circling to his right, he's smothering. He's coming on to my left hand. He's on this left shoulder. He's giving me no room to set up my shots with my left hand or throw hooks. I can't even. So now he's safe when he's over here and he's watching my right hand. So now my right hand has to travel further to get to him. He's on my left shoulder. I can't lead with my left shoulder. I got to lead with my right hand. So it makes me a strange. It's confusing for fighters, right? And that style alone is beautiful. Bernard Hopkins mastered it. I watched him do it to several guys, and they didn't know what they was dealing with. They didn't know why he was able to whoop their ass like that. But Bernard Hopkins is a martial artist. He's not a boxer. He treats boxing like a martial art, meaning he's not faster than you, he ain't stronger than you, he ain't quicker than you. He just got the technique and the IQ to beat you. He'll make you beat yourself. He'll beat you with the clock. He'll hit you with a 3-punch combination and then grab you, right? Did that 3-punch combination hurt you? He don't give a fuck. If it did, it did. If it don't, so what, right? But he clinched. And that clinch if you watch the sequence, that clinch, that 3-punch combination and the clinch and the ref breaking it up, and then him walking behind the ref to make sure you have to take more time to get back to him. That take like 15 to 30 seconds, 20 seconds every time he does it. And he'll do that, let's say 5 times a round. Well, do the math. He done took up half the round or more doing that. So no matter what you're able to do, if you haven't touched him yet because he's clinching and playing the clock against you, it makes you desperate and anxious. So now you're trying harder in the later rounds because you know you're down, because you know you haven't hurt him, because you haven't even hit him, because he's been grabbing you the whole time, right? Now you're desperate, trying too hard. And now he can open you up with shots later on in the fight. Bernard was a genius at that. But that doesn't mean he was better than you. When he fought guys like Jermaine Taylor, when he fought Roy Jones, all those guys, he was just pure IQ. That's what I love Bernard Hagis to this day. You know what I mean? Love him to this day because of that. Donald Curry did that unorthodox lateral shit too, only from the orthodox stance. Yep. He said, I'm sour on Dre Ward now. He talks down on Boots. I guess it's a bud connection. Yeah, like Dre Ward, you know, I shout out to their show. I like their show and all that. He's not exactly wrong about what he's saying about Boots, right? He's wrong about Boots' ability. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's talking about how Boots leaving things in the gym and talking about gym wars. I agree that Philly is bad when it comes to gym wars. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I don't like it because, like I said, I had to sit some guys down. I've had guys retire sparring Boots and just sparring them. They retire. You know what I'm saying? So I agree that that's bad for boxing. I don't think that's great. And I don't let my sons or my youngins box early. You can box after 12, but you're not getting hit in the head at 8 by guys who, you know what I mean, waiting for you. There's some of these little kids, killers out here, man. You're not getting hit by them until you can have that resistance and you know what you're doing, right? But boxing isn't taught like that anymore. Boxing is taught like this. It's taught like dog fighting, meaning they'll take you, right? If you tough already, you're already a badass kid. They'll take you, they'll put you in the ring with another little kid, and you go kill him because you got a natural instinct to kill, right? That's the way you are. You're like big paws in a pup. We can see it. And then they'll train you into something, right? But you were already going to be a fighter anyway. That's not boxing to me. Can you take a nerd? Can you take Muhammad Ali, who was getting his bike stole, and make him a fighter like Angelo Dundee? You know, get what I'm saying? Can you take a kid who's a nerd or a nut and make him something? Can you do that? If you can't do that, then you're not really teaching boxing, because that's what boxing is for. But how do you get those kids if the moment they get in the gym, you put them against little man and man punch him in his fucking face the first day he in the gym because you're just trying to figure out who's the toughest. So now you got a kid going home who don't want to come back because his mom just watched him get his nose broke when she came to you to learn how to defend himself. He just got his face beat in. Now, you know, his confidence gone. He not going to be a fighter. And now this kid, you just feed him little shit bags of soft kids, right? So his ego is inflated, but he's not really that good. You know what I mean? But the kid that you could have developed into that, if you knew how to teach boxing before you put him in the ring, before you let them spar and kill themselves, he could have been something. You know what I'm saying? But the way we teach it is just sink or swim. It's the same as if I threw you in the middle, if I threw 10 kids in the middle of the lake that couldn't swim and 2 of them made it back, I could say they learned how to swim because of me, but I can't say I taught them how to swim. You know what I'm saying? They learned because of me, but the rest of them drown. Whereas if I'm teaching swimming lessons beforehand and I drop all those kids in, they should all make it back, right? Because I'm teaching swimming. Boxing is done the other way. They just throw you in the water. You drown, you drown. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of agree with what Ward be saying when he's talking about the gym war aspect of boxing, because I don't believe in it. You know what I mean? I don't believe that you need to get your head beat in and sparring every day to be good at boxing. I think it helps to spar, of course, but you shouldn't be doing it at such intensity every time you're in there. It should be technical sparring where we're working on something. Like, how do I take a guy who needs to work on his jab and say, hey, just work on your jab this fight, or work on your jab defense, when he got a guy in front of him in sparring that's going for a knockout in sparring. He's not trying to learn nothing. He's just trying to knock you out. This is sparring. He's trying to knock you out, though. So I can't say, hey, work on your jab. No, you go fuck him up, because he's trying to kill you. You know, gain your respect. So that's why Philly develops dogs, because even if you do know it, like I know it, you can't tell your guy to go in there, one-handed or go in there not being his full self because that guy coming. He trying to hurt you. You know what I'm saying? So in sparring, it should be technical. It should be technical, meaning I should be able to control both guys. Say, hey, listen, I need a favor from you. I need you to throw an inordinate amount of jabs this fight or this sparring session so that he can learn how to defend a jab. When I see a guy that consistently had the same problems in boxing over and over again, either he's retarded, excuse my French, or he doesn't have a coach that knows how to teach certain things. Like if you get caught with jabs or right hands, like Haney, for instance, Haney pulls his right hand every time he throws a jab, which is why Ryan Garcia kept hitting him with left hooks because it's wide open. Every time he throw a jab, it's like a bow. He had a bow and arrow style. Every time he throws a jab, his right hand got to come down. Your right hand don't got to fucking move to throw a jab. Nobody can teach him that in his entire career. You can't teach him to stop doing that. Then what are you doing? What are you teaching? You know what I'm saying? So I can get along with it. As you can see, I could talk boxing all goddamn day. You know what I'm saying? All day. But I just want you guys to understand that, like, I really love this shit. So, any questions y'all got, you know what I mean? Holla at me and let's talk. But fight wise, I think that the Paul Joshua fight, I said a second ago, I think that's some bullshit. I don't think they really fighting because ain't no way you sign up to fight Joshua and ain't never had a pro fight in your life. And you do that willingly, you already know something on your end must be set up, or you got them fighting at cruiserweight. Something got to be up, but ain't no way y'all fighting. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no way y'all fighting for real. You know what I mean? But as far as Haney, you said Haney got the best he said self-proclaimed best jab in boxing. Haney probably do got one of the best jabs in boxing. Right? Let me see who might have a better jab than him. Hitchens got a good jab. Haney got a good jab. Haney do got a great jab, though. That's all he really got, though. I'm trying to think who else got one, though, that's like killer. Oh, my young boy. He don't fight like that, though. Sims, Magic Man. I forgot what his first name is. Joshua Sims, I think his name is. We follow each other on Instagram. Cool as shit. He from Crunk Gym. He from that era. But he nasty. What's his name? Sims. Anthony Sims? Yeah, Anthony Sims Jr. Anthony Sims Jr. might have the best jab in boxing, in my opinion. Shout out to Anthony Sims Jr. Follow him on Instagram. But Anthony Sims Jr. might have the best jab in boxing, in my opinion. Because he got an up jab, so it's a bunch of different jabs. You got an extended jab, so this is like the mummy style, you know what I mean? You got a up jab where he's coming from the hip, you're shooting it from the hip like an old school guy. You got your high guard jab, you know what I'm saying? You got your shoulder roll under jab, sort of, you know what I mean? He throw them all. Every kind of jab there is, flick jab, shotgun jab, shovel punch, he got them all. So I bang with Sims. He don't fight no more though, but he vicious. Like when I said that the style that I was trained in, puncher boxer or boxer puncher, I haven't seen it a lot in today's era. He's one of them though that can fight like old school fight. That's how it is. That's how we was taught. He fight like that. He fight like an old school fighter. I love Sims, man. He was nasty. He was nasty. But when you watch the fight against Josh Norman and Haney, everybody talking like, Haney in trouble, Norman is this and Haney is that. Man, neither one of them to me are the goods at 147. I think Haney is only at 47 because Boots is not. And I think Haney's at 147 because at 140 and 135, I think the excuse for him against Garcia was, hey, you're drained, so let's move you up where you're comfortable. But I think that, like I said, if Benn comes to 47, I think Haney's in trouble. Norman, though, I don't think is as big of a threat to Haney as one might think. Norman is a conventional Regis Prograde. Haney just fought Regis Prograde not too long ago. Regis Prograde fights a lot like Norman, meaning he's a good puncher, but you got to be right in front of him. But he was just a southpaw doing it. Norman is a conventional fighter that fight exactly like Regis Prograde. Good athlete, good explosive puncher, but you got to be in his wheelhouse. You got to be right here in his wheelhouse for him to hit you. If you box from the outside, you know what I mean? If you're not a Mexican, you're not standing right in front of him, or you're not a Russian that's trying to pressure. Norman is not as good. I don't think Norman has boxing ability in him. If he does, we're going to see it in this fight. But he does have the ability to hurt Haney with one shot, get him out of here with one shot. I don't know. Haney is tough, tougher than what people gave him credit for. So I don't think Norman is the goods to be able to uh, outpoint Haney. I think Haney will be up on points by the 6th, 7th round, and if he's able to sting you up in those first 5 rounds and kind of debilitate or depreciate Norman's value at that point, I don't think Norman will have nothing left for him to get him out of here, punch resistance wise in the second half of the fight. So I think this is a great fight for Haney because it's again like that Boots Ortiz conversation where the name is big, so Norman it seems dangerous enough. Where if Haney looks impressive against Norman, it's like he on the scene. So it's the fight for that. It's the fight to make Haney look great. Because if he beats him the way he beat Regis Prograde, which I think he can, I don't think he can knock him out. Because Norman don't got no defense, man. Norman is going to walk right to you. He gets hit a lot by guys who are not even great fighters. He gets hit a lot. You know what I'm saying? So like that Santiel fight or whatever, that was a great fight. But my trainer used to always say, man, and no disrespect, it's disrespectful, but I don't mean it in a disrespectful way, but it's the truth. 2 bums make a good fight. 2 average fighters make a good fight because they can't do shit else but fight each other. Arturo Gotti versus Ward, Mickey Ward. They both they wasn't, I ain't gonna say bums, but they both brawlers. They ain't got boxing ability, but they gave 3 great fights against each other. Why? Because they can't do shit else. They gotta sit in the phone booth and beat each other the fuck up. You know what I mean, they selling blood. But Haney will do very well against a guy who want to come fight you like that. He's gonna do well against that. You know what I'm saying? Haney's problem is going to be against explosive guys, explosive athletes that can hurt him early, where they can throw his game plan off, where he can't box you as efficiently. You know what I mean? If you can hurt him early, like Ryan Garcia did. So those guys can give him problems, or a pure boxer, somebody who can do what he can do. You know what I'm saying? In the ring. That's why I say he should stay far away from a guy like Boots. And now he should stay far away from Benn, because Benn just showed me Benn can actually move and do some things and can punch. Benn was hurting Eubanks at 60. He dropped him. I don't think Haney want to deal with that at 147. I don't think nobody at 147 want to get hit by Benn. I don't think so. Benn punched like his dad. He hit Eubanks so hard with one shot. I had all the respect in the world for Eubanks after that one shot. It was, I think it was 4th round. So sometimes you can ride somebody's jab back. So when you don't feint, the reason I teach you how is to feint their jab or to fire their jab from different positions, move their jab around, is because once somebody gets you, if you got the same launch point for your jab over and over again, like Eubanks was fighting like this, he kept, you know, he had that, he kept doing like this with his hands, and then he'd throw his jab. But when he's throwing his jab, he coming down with it, right? So some guys will sort of like parry the jab or get hit with the jab and ride it back in. Man, in the 4th round, he threw a jab that was low while Benn was in the crouch position. He reached with that jab, and Benn rolled that jab right back up with an overhand right that took Eubanks' head almost off. And he was still ready to go. He ain't get dropped or nothing off that shot. But I'm like, God damn, he almost knocked his head off. And his dad used to do that. So I'm like, if he come down to 47 punching guys like that, I can't wait. I would love to watch it, just because it's just like, that's just violence. It's violence. It's nasty. What you think about Ben Whitaker? I mean, you could play around. He play around a lot. I mean, play with your food when you can. It's entertaining. But when you fighting those types of guys that fight like him, when you fighting guys that really, really, you know, they come in one way, you can't play like that. It's like Prince Nassim Hamed when he fought Barrera. Barrera was like, oh, all right, we not going to exchange with no explosive shots. I'm just going to go back to basic boxing, and I'm going to beat you to the punch because I'm going to be fundamentally sound, and I'm going to be sharper than you. Now, Whitaker got that in him, but all that, all the, capoeira, dance moves and shit like that, Boots do that shit too, right? I like it when you could fight a guy that's inferior to you. It's cool. You could do it. It's fun. It's entertaining. I think you have to be able to sell your fights. It's good to do that. I know who he is because he does that, right? But if he fighting guys who really got it, you better not bring none of that shit to the game. And then if you're not bringing that to the game, and you're not sitting there with your hands down like the Matrix, right? Because you're fighting guys who actually got the same reflexes, the same time you got. Now you got to fight. And now are you better than those guys when you got to fight straight up? I don't think Ben Whitaker is. So, yeah, that's how I feel about him. I like him though. He good for the sport, just like Prince Nassim Hamed was. He good for the sport, entertaining. Let's see. Anthony Sims, the light heavyweight, he stopped boxing. Is he a light heavyweight? I don't know if he's a light heavyweight or not. Let me see. What weight is he? He's super middleweight. He's super middleweight. He ain't like heavyweight. He ain't stopped, but let me look at his box record real quick. When the last time he fought? He 23-2. And his last fight, when was it? I don't got the years on here. Where the fuck is the years? His last fight was when? His last fight he lost overseas to, well, when was it though? It don't got the, that was February 23rd of what year though? Yeah, I don't know. Let me see the event. What year was it? I think it was February. I mean, I guess it's February 23rd this year. It don't really say. It don't say when the last time he fought was, but it don't say the date anyway. But yeah, like Sims is one of those guys that I like a lot. Like I like his style. I don't care what his record is at this point, but yeah, last time he fought was February, say February 23rd. Yeah. I don't know. But I don't know what year it was. Yeah, and he's active. He's in his status is inactive. He hasn't been active. Yep. But yeah, he's nasty, man. He nasty. Oh, you said he fought at 68 and 75? Yeah. You said watch Benn versus Vargas. Haney doesn't want to deal with that sort of shit. Yeah, facts. Let's see. What else? Oh, that was 2023. Yeah, yeah. Yep. He said he didn't think he had major issues on the business end of boxing. Who are you talking about? Anthony Sims. Imagine Inoue. I think Inoue has the best and most dynamic jab currently in boxing, which is funny because he's tiny. I like Inoue punching power and style and so on. Um, I don't know. For me, I haven't watched enough Inoue because to me, Inoue doesn't fight enough guys that's like you he hasn't fought guys that I think can deal with him, except for Cool Boy Steph. I think that was a fight that I thought Cool Boy could deal with him and beat him. He beat him, and I give him respect for that fight. Um, I think he fought Nonito. I thought those was good fights too. I think Inoue's great, but at the end of the day, great jab, good. I think every Asian fighter, they have such a way of training where it's martial arts to them, where their timing, speed, sharpness is always at a different level. Asians and Russians, which is sort of same, but Asians and Russians always are technically sound, along with Cubans. So I think that Inoue deserves his respect. Still wouldn't say it's the best jab in the game because just watch Anthony Sims Jr., man. Watch his jab. Watch how he jab, man. I don't see it a lot. I don't see it a lot. You know what I mean? We need Inoue and Nakatani. That's the only live dog who will bring it. Yeah, maybe. I think Inoue going to end his career undefeated, unchallenged. I don't think nobody fucking with him. I think I might mess with him, man. But yeah, anything else y'all want to know? Y'all want to talk about? Go ahead, hit it, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna talk it out because Cowboys don't play till tomorrow, so I ain't got no football to watch. You know what I mean? Let's do it. But we've covered every fight. We talked about Yard and Benavidez. You know what I mean? I think that Yard is a good fight for Benavidez. He's strong, but I don't think he's gonna beat him. Your thoughts on Virgil Hunter? Good trainer or no? Hmm. Yes, he's a good trainer, but he's a good trainer of a specific type of fighter. Ward, like again, remember I said you got guys who you take a kid who already a killer and you train him into something, and you might be the voice for him. So Ward already got the heart that Ward got. Like I said, to be able to fight your entire career with one hand, you already know what you're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? When he got knocked down by Boone and got up, you already know what type of heart he got. You know what I'm saying? But to take him and then you got trainers who they aren't so technical. They know what to say to you in moments. I look at Virgil Hunter as a corner guy. He's a Angelo Dundee type, Teddy Atlas, meaning He's a guy that's gonna say the right thing to you in the corner, not strategically, motivationally. He's gonna say the thing to put you in the right frame of mind. If you that type of fighter that needs to be put in a certain frame of mind to perform, yes, Virgil Hunter is a good trainer. Is he a guy that's gonna teach you all the technical aspects to make you better, make you quicker, change your defects, take away some of your flaws? I don't think he's that. But most trainers that you see ain't that. Cause I'll give you, I'll be honest, like anybody in Philly know Billy Briscoe. If you in Philly, Billy Briscoe really be training Danny Garcia. Angel Garcia is his corner man though, but Billy Briscoe you never even see. You probably don't even know who he is, right? You be like Angel Garcia is Danny Garcia's trainer. He's not, but he's his dad, so he knows what to say to get Danny to perform, but he ain't teach it to him. Billy Briscoe's teaching him and other guys. He ain't teach it to him. Willie Torres, you know what I mean? Those Sterling and those guys are teaching it to him. He's just showing them how he's pulling it out of them, telling them what to do. So there are trainers that are good like that, like Nazim. Brother Nazim, I wouldn't say he's the greatest trainer, rest in peace, but his strategy was what made him great. It wasn't the motivation, it's the strategy. So he might not teach you how to fight as well. Like his sons, Rock, and Tiger, and those guys can fight. All his sons can fight. Dargan can fight. They all can fight. So he's a good trainer. But I think where he became great is where you watch him in the corner with Bernard Hopkins versus Trinidad and so on, right? The things he teaches you strategically, like Floyd Mayweather versus Shane Mosley, the things he teaches you strategy-wise, he can give you, he's like an offensive coordinator, Nazim. He can give you a strategy that you can go out there and use. Now, there's trainers that are like that too, right? That can do that, the analysis. But I think when you got all of it together, meaning I can motivate you, I can give you strategy, meaning I'm not just telling you, hey, man, you got to hit the guy. Keep your hands up. When you hear cornermen, what are they talking about? I'll be listening to cornermen, and I'm like, they don't even know. They don't know what to tell this guy. They just like, hey, man, put your hands up. Of course, put my fucking hands up. But what should I be doing to stop what's happening? Can you tell me that? Most trainers can't do that. Nazim could. He's a strategy guy. Hunter, I don't look at as that guy. It's a lot of guys today, though. There are a lot of trainers today that I don't respect when I listen to what they're saying in the corner or when I watch what their guys are going out there with and what the instructions are when they get back to the corner. It's like, yo, you don't know what to say to this guy. You don't know what to tell him. Or when the original game plan or strategy doesn't work, they don't know what to say to adjust. You know what I'm saying? So those aren't really trainers to me. Hunter, I would give his credit because of what he did with Dre Ward. But I think you need to be able to do it all. Emmanuel Stewart can do it all. He can take a kid that can't fight, teach him how to fight. Tommy Hearns, right? He could take a kid who take a champion who's losing or who lost and tweak some shit in their game. Vladimir Klitschko, Lennox Lewis, tweak some shit in their game where now they look unbeatable. You're like, what the fuck? There's a different dude, right? Because he understands what he's looking at. He understood what he was looking at. Rest in peace to Emmanuel Stewart. Same thing, motivation-wise in the corner. You just listen to him in the corner in any of his classic fights. You know what I mean? He know what to say. You know what I mean? Motivationally. And then technically, as far as like strategy, same thing. He know what to tell you. So there aren't many that can do it all like that. Like I said, shout out to Breadman. He one of them. Shout out to Bozy. He's one of them. I think not Steve Smoker. What's his name? It's not Steve Smoker. That was a ref. One of the Charlo trainers, the big one. What is his name? Damn. Forget the dude's name, but he was under Eddie Futch too. He's a trainer now, but he was under Eddie Futch. But I forget you guys might remember his name. Shields is a good trainer. Shields can teach you from scratch. He know what he's talking about. Buddy McGirt can teach you from scratch. He knows what he's saying. He's an analyst and he's a motivator. Those guys are like that. Hunter, I think that he was good with his guy, with Dre Ward. I don't think he can go, teach everybody. He said Bootsy needs Robert Garcia. Also, Breadman has left Caleb Plant, citing subtle insubordinates, etc. Where do you think CP goes from here? His work rate has diminished, in my opinion. Caleb Plant leaving Breadman was dumb. I think Breadman is one of the best trainers in the game. And I'm not a guy that give a fuck to give people flowers for no reason. You know what I'm saying? I don't care to say it. And it ain't because I know him. Breadman has taken, and I say it straight up, he takes B side fighters and make them fight a A game. You know what I mean? Chiron is not an A fighter. He won't say it about himself because they're not blue chip guys that are coming from, they're not coming from the Olympics, you know what I'm saying? Or Golden Glove, none of that. You know what I'm saying? J Rock, none of that. But he take them to the top and they perform with the top guys, no problem. So when you gave him a guy like Plant, who has A class athleticism with that type of style, he does very well with those types of fighters. Because if you can make a B side fighter fight a game. Shout out to Junkyard Dog. He's not a B-side fighter either, but he's a guy that's not a blue chip prospect, started boxing late. Nobody else would even train JYD. JYD is a monster, right? Because Breadman. So to leave that for Caleb Plant, I think that was dumb as hell. I think that was dumb. But whatever. Whatever. What's next for him? Or where did he go from here? Caleb Plant is a money fight guy now. Like he can get some money because of his name. I think he probably got 3-4 fights left in him. You know what I mean? Where he can make some paydays. It don't really matter who's training him at this point. He can fight. He know how to fight his fight. I just think Breadman was his chance to like remain, at the top. Great live. Final question from me. Thoughts on Janabek? I think he's a real killer who would fare better than Madrimov did versus Crawford. I think any Russian style, if you're gonna fight Crawford, you got to be a boxer puncher. All right, you can't be a pressure fighter because if you pressure him, number one, he's a guy that if you hit him and you hurt him, now you brought the fight out of him, and that's probably what you don't want to do. You know what I'm saying? Because he's gonna hurt you. But if you're a guy that's pressuring him, the way he fights, like Crawford uses a high guard, but he does catches and shoot. He catches and shoots real well. So he'll put his hands up high, right? He'll roll, or he'll use his glove to kind of shield your hooks or your uppercuts or whatever. He'll roll off of it, but right off of those shots. So as soon as he feels your power, right off of those shots, he's pulling his arm out and he's launching shots at you. So when you fight, like when you watch him versus Porter, you know what I mean? When you fighting a guy like Crawford that can parry real well, that has very good catch and shoot ability and counter ability and adaptability. No, that's not Winky style. Winky was a jabber. Winky was a you go, I go fighter, meaning he ain't got his hand up high, but you hit him, and then when you're finished, he's gonna hit you. Crawford is, while you are hitting him, he's shooting. He wants you to punch so he can punch you in between your shots and roll your shots. So he makes your offense work against you because it's like you want to punch him. He right there. Why you think Canelo wasn't trying to throw everything in at the end of the fight? Because every time he tried to engage, Crawford came right back at him with 4 or 5 punches and caught him. Why you think he destroyed? I mean, absolutely destroyed Errol Spence the way he did. I got that fight. I actually broke that fight down something crazy. So if you want to go on my channel, go to Akoye Media and just type in Akoye Media Crawford, and you're gonna see everything I ever did on Crawford. But him and Errol Spence, that shows you like his style. I don't give a fuck how much of a killer you are. If you're not a boxer that can make him come up out of his shell and actually open up and fight you clean like a Kell Brook could do it, but Kell Brook got knocked out when he hurt Crawford in the first round. Crawford came out in southpaw and knocked him right the fuck out because Crawford's strong as shit too. So I don't know if there's anybody that can beat Crawford other than Boots, in my opinion, bro. You got to be able to box. Birdman left Caleb not the other way. He basically said Caleb was running his camp his way and doing things in fights they never worked on, etc. Oh, that's actually I respect Bread for that because Bread is he's a very disciplined, principled trainer. Like I said, I fuck with Bread, and I haven't talked to him since he left Caleb, but we gonna get on the phone and talk, and I'll figure out what went on. You know what I mean? But I think that's all the questions y'all asked, man. And I've been up here an hour and a half, so you know what I mean. We'll talk again soon. But make sure you guys like, subscribe, follow Akoye Knows Boxing, not just Akoye Media. So those of you that are on the Akoye Media side right now, if you're watching this live on Akoye Media, make sure you go to Akoye Knows Boxing and you follow that page as well. He said Boots not big or strong enough, in my opinion. It's good that you got an opinion, Volta, but your opinion don't really mean anything. All due respect, it don't, because you basing it off of nothing. I don't even know how you can't even make the opinion. You can't make it off of his fights because he knocking shit out, number 1. You can't base it off of seeing him because I don't think you've been in the gym watching how strong this kid is, but Boots is strong as fuck. He's strong, man. And big, he walk around 180. Man, his whole family, if you see Pooh Ennis or Farah Ennis, they all big. He the only one that's and they all fought at 54 and lower too. But you see if you see what his family balloons up to when they're not fighting, he's a big guy. Boots' face even look fat half the time. Like Boots is not a little dude and he ain't weak. So that ain't biased opinion. That's just like you know, you don't really know what you're saying when you say that. I get it, but I'm not hating on you. You just really don't know what you're saying. Abdullah Mason versus Sam Noakes, Bam versus Puma. Break it down. I'll break that down in the next fight because that's gonna take us another 30 minutes. You know what I mean? But I will save those as topics. He said, "Yeah, man, shout out from London. Take it easy. Endless Crusade, appreciate you, man." He said, "Assalamu alaikum. How are you? Also, how is your family? Blessings and greetings. Congratulations to Conor Benn and Islam Makachev. You're so intelligent, knowledgeable, and know everything." Who the hell is this? God damn. Appreciate it. That sounds like a bot. Like I ain't write that comment, but I appreciate the comment. God damn. That was some shit. Go ahead, put that up there. You just pumped me up and shit. I'm about to walk around with a whole new swagger and shit. God damn. You know, we call that gassing up here in Philly, man. You gassing me the fuck up. But no, appreciate that. Seriously, I'm only joking with you, man. Only joking with you. But god damn, like what? Who that? It's like a bot or something. Just like, yo, make me feel good. Do something to make me feel better. You know what I mean? Funny. Man. But all right, yeah, make sure y'all guys follow those channels. I will put some instructional shit in here. Matter of fact, to leave, I might have some instructional shit. If I do, I'll let you guys watch that on our way out, and then we out of here. All right, let me see if I got some. I'm gonna share my screen. See what I've ever put out here. I don't know. Share screen. Let me put it up here real quick. All right, boom. This is like 19 minutes. I ain't gonna make y'all watch 19 minutes of film though. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna show you some clips from the Crawford John, just cause you know why not? All right, let me get back in, make sure you can see it. It's called Man Down if you guys want to watch it on YouTube. It's called Man Down. Boom. Let me move this along. This is what I was talking about. So a lot of this is frozen. Let me see. Boom. I'll put this on mute. Matter of fact, no, I'll put it on. You can listen to it. Before I even go into this, right? So not I ain't gonna say what a lot of trainers, a lot of fighters too, use me for this. So this analysis that you see in this fight, you don't see a lot of them online because the way YouTube's rules are, they will flag me or give me this one is okay because the way it was recorded. But most of the time I don't publish boxing and then analytical breakdowns because you get copyright infringement for it. So I don't do it as often. Um, he said, "Are you related to the great running back Akoye?" No, Akoye is not my name, bro. Akoye means accumulated knowledge. So that's why it's an acronym. Accumulated knowledge over years of experience. That's what all of us are Akoye. So that's not my name, but I know who Christian Akoye is. But no, we're not related. I'm not Nigerian at all, bro. I'm from here. You mean? But back to what I was saying. I don't usually show these breakdowns because of that, but trainers do hire me behind the scenes to break down their potential opponents, and I'll tell you exactly what these guys are doing. So I just enjoy it. You probably will enjoy this video. You know what I mean? But I'll play half of it. You know what I mean? I'll probably last. Yeah, let's just I'm just you see how every time you see that shot right there? Watch this. This is what I mean when you just ask me about Jennebeck. The way Bud catches and shoots or shoots in between your shots, you see that? He'll catch you while you trying to hit him. So he turns your offense against you. Like the better your offense is, the worse you're gonna get beat. Get what I'm saying? Boom. You see that? Watch these catch and shoots. That's a catch and shoot right there. Boom. That's exactly what I was just showing y'all, right? Like the way he
Because it's
catches
saying
you in
that,
between your
you know,
shots is
Spence was just some
just
lame
nasty.
duck who wasn't, because he's a right-handed
And it
fighter.
doesn't matter what happened with Spence.
Hand
Spence
right hook
wasn't going to win this
combination,
fight
Spence is going to catch him. You're
regardless
going
of
to
what
see
he
it when it
did.
come up. But out what their Achilles heel is. And Bud is a problem solver who's able to figure that type of stuff out just by watching you. Everything he's doing right now, he's just staring in his face like a mongoose, using his reflexes to try to see where he can take advantage of Spence's attack. That's what he did that first round. Spence, you know, was more aggressive that first round and trying to impose his will and wear Bud out. That was the game plan for both guys. One guy's going to have to be technical and box very well. The other guy was going to have to just wear his man out over time. But Spence couldn't anticipate that when you started to up the pressure and get inside, that, you know, you
You
would
see that
lose
overhand
inside.
left
Like I
that he
said,
just threw?
everybody thought that Bud would pick Spence apart from the outside. Nobody thought that Bud would eat these overhand left shots and these body
That
shots
shot right
and
there.
eat them as
He's
cleanly. And I
catching
don't
all
think
these
Bud
shots
thought
in
he
his glove. He
would.
did this
That's
against
why he trained
Canelo
so
too.
hard.
Look
He
how
didn't think
hard
that,
that
hey,
body
when I
jab
hit a
was.
guy with a body jab, I'm going to move him back
He
3
moved him
feet,
about
you
3 feet
know.
with a body jab. You know? Crazy.
Taking some of that steam off because he's taking a step back every time he gets hit with it. But he's conditioned himself to be able to withstand them. So he's not afraid of that body jab. And then when he actually does feel Spence inside, like when Spence actually gets inside and they exchange from close range and infight, Bud is going to realize he's stronger. So if you're Derrick James and you got Spence, who you already knew wasn't going to beat Bud from the outside, I know that wasn't your game plan. And now that you're inside, Bud is stronger, you know, what is the game plan? There go that body jab, and Bud threw a check hook off of it. It was too slow, though, because Spence moved him back with the jab. You know, Bud's going to keep stepping around with his jab, and that's a problem because, again, that's a strong right hand, not a weak jab. Now, this is where the game plan takes a hit. It's not a bad game plan. It's just that if I know my guy is an infighter and he's one of the best infighters in the game, I'm going to tell him to get inside and fight inside. And when he does it, he gets thrown halfway across the ring. Where do you go from here as anybody? It don't matter what kind of trainer you are. You got a guy, you know what your guy can do. It's less about adjustments at this point and more about like, what can my guy do? What does he know how to do? And here go that body jab again. This time, Bud's going to throw a straight left hand and a right hook off of it. And Spence, for those who say he wasn't right, his defense is perfect. You know, he rides the left hand back and catches the hook with his left hand up, right? Look, boom, boom. See? He rides it back and then, you know, avoids that hook. But Bud is taking pictures. He sees, he said, okay, that left hand is up, and he's looking for that right hook off that straight left. Spence is not deterred by that. But now in the same round, now Bud's trying to do it again right now. Look at it. He sees it, but he gonna hold it because he sees Spence was in position. Spence was waiting for it, trying to counter his counter. So Bud like, all right, cool. He was patient. You know what I mean? But just watch when he sees this body jab again. Or that time Spence did a good job of showing the body jab and then throwing another punch off of it. You know what I mean? But Bud gonna see that body jab again, and when he sees it again this time, watch what happens. This is why you got to give this guy his flowers and stop saying that Spence was just some, you know, some washed up fighter. He's not. Bud adjusts in this particular point of the round, and he earned his knockdown because Spencer's looking for that hook again off of that straight left hand, and he's got his hand in position for the hook. Bud doesn't throw a hook because he took a picture on the last hook, and now he knows I need to throw a straight shot. So he throws a 2-1 combination, and that 2-1 combination surprises Spence and catches him on the side of his temple, and that throws his equilibrium off. So his feet are not there. So if you Spence, you fought from the outside, you know he a little quicker from the outside. You're gonna lose slowly and get picked apart from the outside, and then you're not as strong as Bud from the inside. Now, as a trainer, what do you tell? What do you tell your guy? You can't tell him stay outside because you're gonna get picked apart. You know he wasn't gonna win the fight coming into the fight from the outside. And you knew that your game is get inside. So Bud is beating Spence at his own game. That's the problem. If you fighting your fight, all you could tell your fighter to do is fight his fight. Spence is fighting his fight. It's not working. And now in the third round, what did he tell him? You can tell. Up the intensity. He's upping the intensity. Spence is coming out aggressive and angry because he's embarrassed. It's the first time he's been on the ground. And he's throwing good shots. That was an overhand left that landed right on the ear. Bud just ate that, Joe, just walked right off of it, and he's gonna continue doing that. He gets him in the corner, and then he throws a barrage of like 7 punches. Spence got him in the corner and went ham on Bud right here, man. And Bud catches all these shots. He stays calm, and he's gonna catch all these shots, man. When he catches that overhand left, but these shots still will hurt the average person. This is where most fighters don't want to be against Spence, and Bud is there just chilling. So when you got a guy that's beating you at what you like to do, where do you go from there? You tell him to do something he doesn't like to do? You tell the fighter to do something he doesn't historically do? Like what? Get on his toes and box? A guy who already a better boxer, you're going to catch him with a check hook here, and it's going to back Spence up. But you could tell Spence was told to stay inside because he wants to back up here, right? He takes a step back, but then his instincts or his training tells him, no, I can't give up this position because I might not get him in the corner again. So he goes right back after it, and still nothing, right? But that in that combination or in that series, he threw about altogether like 9 punches, and none of them had landed. Still haven't landed one. That's the 10th punch. Here's the 11th, 11th and 12th, right? He's gonna throw a jab. After Bud's jab here, watch it. Spencer gonna throw a jab, nothing. Gonna throw another jab. Bud gonna just knock it off. See what I'm saying? So Spence is right there in his face doing what he does, but none of this is effective. That body jab hurt Bud. That's how you can see why he shot off the ropes real quick and got back to the center of the ring. But Bud is giving up that body jab so that he can take advantage of it. He's gonna try it again in this round, But look at that, he just stabbed him in the gut and moving him around with that left hand to the body. Bud is just clearly stronger inside. Spence is inside. He just can't do anything with Bud from there. So it's less about what Spence wasn't able to do and more about what Bud was prepared for and how good Bud actually is. You got a guy that's a prolific boxer, can switch hit from the outside and move gracefully on his toes, stay in the pocket on the ropes, catch shots against a guy who can punch. Not a one punch knockout guy, but they go that body jab again. I didn't want to make this too long, so we gonna break it down in the next one, man. But you see what those body jab and that infighting is doing. This is where you would want Spence to be. It's like a lion with his teeth on his prey's throat. Like that's what you would tell any lion. Who knew that that's where Bud wanted to be, though? You know what I mean? Like you couldn't anticipate that before this fight, that if you got inside and it was an infight, that Bud would be this much more sturdy and stronger and powerful on the inside. That's what's happening here. Spence is inside. He's where he needs to be, and he's losing at his own game. That is not Spence not fighting this game. That's Spence losing at what he loves to do. So what else would you ask a guy to do? What else would you tell Derrick James to tell his pit bull to do? Spence is a pit bull. He's going to come forward, fight you to the death. He went out on his shield, did what he's supposed to do. When Spence is stepping forward with that jab, as you can see, Bud's feet is still in the air, and his weight is shifting through Spence's face as Spence steps forward into his own jab. So now that takes away Spence's ability to throw his jab. He got him back right there with his head off to the left and shooting his jab, right? And Bud backed off a little bit. But for the most part, that was Bud's game. Bud was getting his head off to the left and shooting that straight right hand or that jab in there. But Spence is landing good shots in the beginning of this fight. It's just not doing a damn thing to Bud. He's getting inside and doing what he wants to do inside, but it's not hurting Bud. He can't hurt him, man. He can't hurt him because Bud was conditioned for this fight. You know what I mean? Not because Spence couldn't fight this fight. So let's just make that clear, man, and give both these guys the credit that they deserve. I don't think there should be a rematch due to the fact that stylistically this is a bad matchup for Spence. No different than Vernon Forrest with Shane Mosley. That didn't make Shane Mosley a bum. It just meant Vernon Forrest had the style to deal with Shane Mosley, you know, and that's just that.
Just giving y'all a treat at the end for those who stayed on. You know what I mean? Just wanting to show y'all that. But I will be doing more analysis like that. If you guys want to see breakdowns that are done up and cut up like that, they are coming to the channel. I just haven't done them yet. We're working out the licensing so that we don't get copywritten when we do it. But like I said, this has been a long farewell. I just gave y'all that treat at the end because I wanted you guys to get a look at what I really do. That's what I do for camps and for fighters. They'll reach out to me. Sometimes Mill will call me and they'll be like, hey man, this guy about to fight so-and-so. Send me some tape. Here's the tape on him. Here's the footage. Let me know what drills we should work on in camp. So I work with trainers. It's not so most trainers fuck with me because we don't have an adversarial relationship. I'm not trying to take your fighter. I'm trying to make your fighter better. You know what I mean? And then I have my own fighters. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. But talk to y'all soon, man. Appreciate it. We out.